Michael, a new signing in Tommy McDermott. How's it come about?
Yeah, well, I do know his agent. I've known his agent for a while. Obviously, with Matt Williams being at Burnley, the relationship with himself and the football club, because I've obviously previously been chief executive, was he, wasn't he? So obviously, when we had the pre-season game set up, it sort of like made sense to continue the conversation, and clearly Tommy was playing at Huddersfield that day, unfortunately, and not up against us. But yeah, I think over probably a number of weeks now, 7-8 weeks, there's been sort of the odd discussion about potential availability, and yeah, last week I think it was made clear that he was going to be let out, so we jumped to the opportunity.
What does he bring that's different to what you've got?
Well, he's all action. He's certainly all action. Brings a good balance. Obviously, we've got Sam Clucas in the group as a lefty playing in the middle of the park, which helps you with a balance. Tommy's the same. He gives you a bit of everything, to be honest with you. He can dribble with the ball. He's a good passer of the ball. But he can get goals as well. He's certainly known for goals and assists from the middle of the park. So yeah, he's like all action. I think he's definitely a player that the fans will love. Really, we're probably going to have to temper his enthusiasm every now and again. It's probably the best way to put it, and because yeah, he's got that sort of mean streak in him, but as long as we sort of channel that in the right directions, I think the fans will enjoy him.
How's Eli Harris, and is he likely to feature tomorrow?
He's certainly got a better chance than ever. As long as he has no reaction from today, then yeah, he should be starting for us. He has got better day by day, really. Clearly we were hoping he might have an outside chance for Bromley, and then obviously we were reasonably confident it'd be okay for Tranmere. It didn't transpire, so I must admit I was pretty confident to be available for today, and like I say, he's trained today and he's done everything that you'd expect that would come in a game situation, and touch wood, he'll have no reaction overnight. If that's the case, he'll play.
Regarding transfers, is it a case of one in, one out? Just give us a bigger picture of what you're having to deal with.
No, it's not a matter of one in, one out. I think it's more, working to the budget that, we all have to sort of work to. And if that means getting a player who's an upgrade on what you've got and he's earning less than what you've got, then you bring another one in. So it's quite simple math, really. There might be 3 players that come in and 1 player leave. There might be 3 players that come in and 4 players leave. It's just working within your restraints, and that's what we'll always do and continue to do.
Have you still got room in your budget then for maybe more signings without people going?
Well, on that basis, you've always got room in your budget. That's the point. You said, like, for me, it's if players come available and they're an upgrade on what you've got in your group, sometimes you have to make tough decisions and have tough conversations with players, because what I don't want to do is get to a point where I think I've done enough or we've done enough, and all of a sudden we lose out on opportunities to bring really good players to the club. So I never sort of shut myself off from that point of view. I think it's one of them where you've got to get the balance right in terms of ability and the actual person as well. So yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll never shut ourselves off. We'll always make ourselves available and try and use what we have to the best of our ability, and that's what we're trying to do.
Clearly not the start you would have hoped for, results-wise. What's your assessment so far?
Listen, I was satisfied with the first game, especially out of possession. I thought we were very, very good against Bromley. I thought we can definitely do better with the ball, but certainly, when you've got over 60% of possession in a game, and you keep a clean sheet, then you've got to be reasonably satisfied. Obviously, Saturday was a little bit of a shock to the system. I think there was a lot of things that transpired against us on the day, but ultimately there's no hiding place. We need to be better, and I made that clear after the game, and I haven't changed my opinion on that. you know, and it's one of them where I have to take just as much responsibility because I pick the team. You know, it's up to them to go and perform, but I pick the team, so it's one of them where I've got to pick a better team next time round and make sure that we're more competitive and we get closer to winning a game. But in terms of like where we're at, I think if you take Saturday's game out of it, I know you can't, but if you had that in isolation up to that point, we were in a pretty good space really. So I've got to be careful of getting the balance right between making sure the players know what's expected, what's right and what's wrong, but at the same time keeping a level of balance to it. It's the second game of the season. There's an opportunity for getting through to the next round of the Cup tomorrow, which it's always nice to have a cup run with any football club, and then another big game on Saturday.
What are you looking to see an improvement in? Well, maybe one area that you weren't happy with?
Well, I thought for the first sort of 20 minutes or so Saturday, there was sort of like nothing in the game, and the 2 goals in 3 or 4 minutes changed the complete complex of the game. You know, it was one of them where all of a sudden we were sort of losing 50-50 challenges, we were losing duels, we wasn't jumping on second balls, which at this level of football you have to do that first and foremost before you even think about playing. So that period, once they scored the 2 goals, we were a little bit messy, we were all over the place at times. I was happy for getting in at half time, you know, and I've made it clear today, and I don't sort of shy away from it, you know, even when we were down to 10 men in the second half, I felt more confident that we would get something from the game than I did in that spell after we went 2-0 down with 11 players on the pitch. So I suppose that's a testament to the subs coming on and making an impact. I think in the 2 games, and even in pre-season games, but in the 2 games, the competitive games, the lads who have come off the bench have made a difference, and I think that's going to be important going forward, because there'll be times where we are winning in games and winning comfortably. And when you make subs, you don't want the levels to drop, you want them to go up again, and that's obviously going to be key.
Yeah, a couple of players who came on during that game probably gave you food for thought for tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, no, definitely, you know, and it is a group situation. It's not about the 11. The 11 give you a platform to go on and try and win the game, but ultimately, you know, the lads who are coming off the pitch and going on and trying to make an impact, it's important that they do that, because we need as much pressure on that starting 11 as we possibly can.
Grimsby, a team that you'll be up against anyway this season, but what are your reports on them?
Very good, actually. Yeah, very good. Obviously David's had that group now for 18 months or so, maybe coming up to 2 years. Some good players, you know, from what I've seen, the games, they play very well. I've seen some of the pre-season games against good opposition. So they're definitely going to be, I would imagine, one of the stronger teams this year in the league. I think there's no doubt about that. They're going to be right up there. I don't obviously know what he's going to do with his group, with his team, but like I say, having seen some of the pre-season stuff, they have got a good group, so it's not just about their 11 as well. So it's going to be a test, it's going to be a good game, it's going to be very different to Tranmere. I fully expect them to try and press the life out of us like Tranmere did, but in terms of how they use the ball and how they play, it'll be a certainly different scenario, and I think it will actually suit us.
Yeah, and you make a point there about Dave Artell being there for 18 months and you're still very much in your infancy, so does it feel that way to you, that it's still very, very early in what you're trying to do?
Well, it is, in the sense that obviously, you know, once the season was ended last year, it's a very different group this time around. 7 new signings, 8 obviously today with Tommy. But I think from our point of view, we're work in progress. Obviously, for me, like I say, Saturday was a game that I didn't expect, and you know, if I'm being honest, like, it was one of them where I was a little bit humiliated as an individual. I don't like that happening. You know, it doesn't happen to me, you know, too regular. I think the last time it did, I clearly was outspoken after the game last season, so it's not something I enjoy or want to happen on a regular basis, and I don't think it will. But yeah, I think we are work in progress. There's a lot of work to do with the group. But from an expectation point of view, we've got to be careful as well of not, wanting too much too soon. I do know it because obviously I've lived in the area. It's a big juggernaut, this place. There isn't many like local teams surrounding it, and it's in a place where it's heading in the wrong direction in a minute, and we have to slowly but surely sort of turn that juggernaut around and heading it in the right direction. And I've got sort of full belief in myself that I am capable of doing that, and I'm sure with the backing of the club, and more importantly, we're not going to be able to do anything without our fans. They can definitely play their part, and I'm sure they will. Absolutely no doubt, I'm sure they will. On Saturday, even when we went 3-0 down to a wonderful goal, they still stuck the players, and every time we got into that final third, or we got a corner, or whatever it may be, they were trying to suck the ball into the back of the goal, and we're going to need that.